What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to the channel. It's time once again for another top 5, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing my top 5 favorite Image Comics series. Now this was a bit harder because I read a bit of Image. It was a hard choice because there are so many series I truly enjoyed, both that are now over and still going on at Image Comics, and this of course is all series that have been going on for quite some time. None of the newer ones, but this was hard, and I actually might revisit this top 5 and do another top 5 from Image at some point in the future. But for right now, I narrowed down my absolute favorite top 5 series, and we're gonna waste no time and get into that list. Coming in at number 5, Invincible. A series by Robert Kirkman. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. Unfortunately, yes, Invincible is over. I'm very sad that Invincible ended. A lot of us were very sad when Robert Kirkman announced that Invincible was ending. And it was one of my favorite superhero stories outside of the big two. There were others, but Invincible truly was one of them. And it was just an amazing series from beginning to end. I've read Invincible at least twice or 3 times over. I'd love to have a full hardcover collection of Invincible. It was great artwork by Ryan Ottley. Ryan Ottley's artwork fit so well for Invincible, and it was an amazing team between Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley, and they did an amazing job, and it went on for quite some time. If you missed out on that series, definitely it is one of my top favorite books to recommend out of Image Comics. And I'm looking forward. Robert Kirkman is now doing a new series, and I'm looking forward to seeing where him and Chris Samney now go with this new series. But Invincible will always be one of my favorite books that Robert Kirkman wrote. Coming in at number 4, Chew. Now, unfortunately, the first volume of Chew is over. Another series that is no longer going on at Image Comics. But starting in July, or whenever new comic books catch up, there's a new Chew series. Now, the Chew series I'm talking about is CHEW. However, it is getting a sequel series coming soon called Chew CHU, where instead of it being Tony, it's his sister. Now, Chew, the series that made number 4 here, is all about Tony, who is a police officer and also a chipopath. He can eat anything, any type of flesh, and he gets all of their memories and all of their skills. And I thought this was such a weird concept, but so much fun to read, and it was so out there, and the artwork was so good. There was stuff that you could find in panels that was just out of this world. And the artist, I'm sorry I forgot the name of the artist, who is now doing Farmhands, is still doing that wacky and crazy artwork in Farmhands, and is coming back also to do the new Chew series, so I'm looking forward to that. And Chew was just out there, man. It was wacky, it was crazy, and once again, when the last issue dropped, it was sad because you wanted more. You truly wanted more from Chew, and unfortunately we didn't get it. There was a wonderful story about Tony and the girl he loved, and they ended up getting married, and then things happened, and then aliens and other chipopaths and other people with other types of food. It was a crazy food comic book. It was out there, and again, just like with Invincible, a series that I definitely want to collect in its special hardcover form. Another book I highly recommend always from Image Comics. Just an enjoyment to read, and I'm looking forward to the sequel series that is coming out soon. Coming in at number 3, right now it's on a bit of a hiatus, Saga. Saga was a book I didn't expect to like. The first issue I read was out there, Marco and his wife Alana and their daughter on the run because they're in the middle of this war between Alana's people and Marco's people. And this war, they had this baby, and Marco was a prisoner that Alana helped escape, and they escaped together, and their daughter ends up getting taken away at some point. A lot of this story is actually told from the viewpoint of the daughter. It's like we are either the daughter's children or somebody that the daughter, as she's older, is remembering all of these stories. So we're getting it told from her point of view, even though there are some parts where the daughter's not in. But she's the one telling the story. And as this series goes on, it starts off where she's just born, and then there's a break, and then we get when she's a little bit younger, but she's a young girl, and then we take another break, and now she's a young teen, maybe like early 10, 12 years old, and now we are in yet another break, and this time it's been a year hiatus. They have gone on for they've been gone for a year now, and now with comic books having been paused even longer, I don't know when we're going to be seeing Saga again, but Saga is slated to be coming back, and I'm looking forward to when Saga comes back. I'm looking forward to see what time period we go into. There are some shock factors in this series, some deaths that you don't see coming until they happen, some weird twists and turns that you don't see until it happens, and it's a great series. But this series, I would definitely highly recommend mature readers only. There is some suggestion in this series, and there definitely is some nudity in this series. So practice caution, whoever's watching this top 5, and make sure that you are 18 and older, because this series definitely pushes the envelope a bit. But if you are 18 and older and you don't take offense to things super easily, you're going to enjoy Saga as much as I have, and I'm looking forward to when Saga actually does come back, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Coming in at number 2, another one of my favorite superheroes outside of the big two, Spawn. Spawn has officially grabbed the record for the longest running independent superhero comic book on the market, passing the 300th mark, and we are now at issue 304, 305, and Spawn has been an enjoyment for me. The first 100 issues, in my opinion, will always be the most memorable. From 100 to 150, there were some crazy things that went on, and then we lost Al for a time, and a new Spawn came up temporarily, and then Al started. There were starting to be hints that Al was coming back. 200 hit, and Al's return happened, and then we had Al once again. The only downside, and the only thing that I take away from this series, and why it couldn't make that number 1 spot, is the fact that the artwork changed. Todd McFarlane did the artwork for a lot of the early on Spawn, and I feel that's what made Spawn. And then what happened was, as time moved forward and Todd McFarlane backed up from doing all the work on Spawn, new artists came on board, and some of the art, unfortunately, in my opinion, did not fit for Spawn, and there was an artist that stayed on for nearly 100 issues, and it made Spawn feel a little different for me, and that's definitely what took away from Spawn, or else Spawn absolutely easily would have been my number 1 pick. But other than the artwork, the story itself, there were some ups, there were some downs. We lost Al, we got Al back. Heaven and Hell's War, there's really no good side here. It's a lot of gray area, and it's just the story itself. I mean, everyone knows the backstory of Spawn. Very few people don't, so I'm not going to bore everybody with it. But Al Simmons ends up making a deal with the devil because he ends up being killed. He makes a deal with the devil to come back to Earth because of his wife. And in making a deal with the devil, he becomes Malbolgia, who is the devil in this universe. He becomes his Spawn soldier, his soldier, and he goes to Earth, and he's supposed to prepare it and have people sent to hell and lead Hell's army onto Earth, and that, of course, never happens. You had the Violator. Angela's original first appearance is from Spawn. However, Angela's rights were sold to Marvel, and now Marvel has Angela in the Savage Avengers, and they've used her in several other series in the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe. It's nice. It's weird and nice to see Angela in the Marvel Universe. It's just weird because every time I see Angela, the first person I think of is Spawn. So, and there have been hints in Marvel that Angela came from an alternate universe and somehow made it into the Marvel Universe. So, they did explain it away. It's still weird, and it's sad because I would have loved to have seen what Todd McFarlane would have done if he kept Angela, especially now that Al's back. But I guess he truly and honestly told what he had to tell with Angela, and now Angela's with Marvel. Spawn's in Image still, and Todd McFarlane Spawn just continues to deliver. It's just, as long as the artwork fits the Spawn series, it's amazing. So definitely a solid number 2 from me. Then my number 1 favorite series has to go to Birthright. Birthright only has a couple more issues before Birthright is ending. It has been amazing since the first issue. I was going to end up this is the true story. I was never going to pick up Birthright. I had no interest in it. The story looked interesting. The artwork looked amazing, but I didn't really want to try it. At the time, I forgot what was going on in life, but I just didn't want to try it. And then Brand, we were doing Zone 4 at the time, and he said we were going to be covering the first issue of Birthright. So I ended up jumping in, and I read the first issue. I liked it. I think I wasn't sold until the first 5 issues. After the 5th issue, I was sold on Birthright. I loved the series, and I wanted to continue it. And it's just been one of the must-read books that I read every time it comes out of Image Comics. And we are reaching the climactic finale. We are in the, I think, 7th volume now, or 8th. But the series is ending. Every 10 issues is a new arc. And every arc was leading into this final arc. And Mikey originally came back and was possessed by an agent of Lore. Lore is the bad guy from Tyrannos, which is the world where Mikey, as a young boy, was trapped in. And the father was blamed. They thought the father ended up killing Mikey, but in reality, he was trapped in this alternate world. And I do hope if we ever do revisit Birthright, we get that tale. I feel like there's so much story in Mikey's journey from when he was a boy until he was a man. I would love to see that journey. We do get a lot of it in flashbacks, but a lot of it is jumping from one time period to another. I would love a dedicated series to when Mikey was a boy and leading all the way up to when he fought Lore. I would love that. I think that would be a really fun series to read. But for right now, we got a lot of Mikey's backstory in flashbacks, and the father was happy Mikey was back. At first, everybody was questioning it. Then we find out his brother is a wizard, possibly, and well, he is a wizard. Period. And now Lore, they've broken the barrier between Earth and Tyrannos, and now the big war. That's what this whole thing was building up to, the war, and that's what these last 10 issues are all about. Mikey defending Earth and Tyrannos against Lore, and there's a lot of twists and turns. Again, there's a lot of twists and turns here that you get as you read the series. And I loved it because you don't know what to expect, and you don't expect it until it happens. And it's an enjoyable read. It's a book I always recommend. Every single book on this top 5 I made sure to know I've recommended. And this is a book I've recommended since the first volume. And all of these books on this top 5, I recommend everybody to try out if you haven't tried them out yet. But Birthright, I'm going to be sad to see it go. Whenever comics start coming out again, we're going to be, again, counting down till the last issue of Birthright. I do hope we get another volume, whether it be the past or the future. Maybe there's an open ending. I don't know yet. We'll find out when Birthright ends. But Birthright has been consecutively one of my favorite series out of Image Comics. Strong artwork, really great story. If you haven't tried it yet, like I said, you have time now, definitely jump into Birthright. And with that, that is my top 5 favorite series out of Image Comics. A few that are still going on, one that's ending soon, and the rest that have ended. And Chew has a sequel coming, so one that has a sequel coming. Invincible, technically it's not a sequel, but Robert Kirkman is doing a new hero-esque book, so we have that to look forward to whenever new comic books come out as well. However, it's not Ryan Ottley on the artwork, it's Chris Samney that's going to be joining Robert Kirkman. So we'll see where that series goes. But these are my favorites. Like I said, there are still so many other titles I read from Image. I will definitely be revisiting this in the future. But for right now, these are my top 5. Definitely something I recommend for everybody to check out. Check out the trades, check out back issues, check it out however you can. Digitally, physically, however. And then come back and let me know if you enjoyed any or all of the recommendations I made for all 5 of these series in the comments below. But till then, everybody, as always, links in the description below connected to all things going on, all things I'm connected to, Comic Frontline, at Dark Avengers C86, across social media, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, even though I don't use it. But you can follow me all across there at Dark Avengers C86. And you could also check out shootingstaruniverse.com. That's my website. I post all the stuff I do all across the internet there, as well as exclusive written posts that I'm going to be getting back to very, very soon. But yeah, like I said, all links are in the description below. Also, if you are following Comic Frontline, Comic Book Weekly, every single Tuesday, Dark Avenger Live, every single Friday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. for Dark Avenger Live, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern for Comic Book Weekly. Thank you all so much for being here for this. I hope you enjoyed it. Top 5s are definitely going to be sticking around on the channel. I am working on a really cool way to bring Top 5 into the fold when all the new books come out. I have a really good idea in store for Top 5. So look forward to that series when new books start to come out on a regular basis. But till then, everybody, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I'll see all of you really soon in the next one.